Today I'm at Starbucks drinking a Melon Burst Energy, answering the top 15 questions that I get across all my social media platforms when it comes to real estate investing.
I want my first real estate deal. How much liquid cash should I have to start this journey?
The biggest difference I want to point out in that question is should or need. You need $0 to start investing in real estate. That's one of the most beautiful and powerful things about real estate investing is you don't have to have money to invest in real estate. There are a ton of different things you can do with none of your own money or anybody's money, and there are also things you can do by using other people's money. However, if you're asking me how much you should have, I think anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 would be an ideal scenario if you have it. On the other hand, I wouldn't wait a long time to save up 5 or 10 grand. I would start to invest now with no matter what you have in the bank, but ideally growing and scaling with 5 to 10 grand in the bank is plenty.
How do you spend $30,000 a month on maintenance?
Well, I have about 300 rental properties and all of them, or a lot of them, need maintenance on certain months. Not all of them need something every single month, of course. There are certain months when certain units need more, and then we'll go 8-10 months without even touching that unit and doing anything to it. However, I am a landlord and not a slumlord, so I make sure to set money aside to take care of my properties because I want the tenants to be happy and I want them to cash flow.
How long did it take you to get to $50 million in rental properties?
So I got the $50 million in rental properties in about almost exactly 10 years. Now it's one of those things like anything else that started slowly and then picked up steam, just like you normally think. The first year I got a couple $100,000, then the next year a few $100,000 more, then the next year a couple million, then it started to grow over time as I made more connections with lenders, funding sources, and also other connections to actually get deals coming my way. So it's a lot of real estate, I understand that, but over 10 years, if I look back and look at the numbers, it doesn't seem that crazy because we were just so steady and consistent.
If I want to invest in real estate, what's the first step?
The very first step is actually twofold in my opinion. The first thing you should do is get a base level of knowledge. You have to understand what the difference between wholesaling and flipping is. You have to understand what an assignment is versus double close and what ARV stands for. You need to know these simple base site type words so that you can understand and learn more and be a sponge so you're taking in more of what you're hearing in the conversation you're going to be having in step 1B, which is getting involved in your local community. Go to your local meetups, join your local Facebook groups, and get around other active investors. If you have a baseline level of knowledge and then you're getting around other active investors, you're going to be able to understand what they're saying and how they're saying it so you can fully embrace it and use it. And if you want to jumpstart all of that, I would suggest going to the description and going to freerentalwebinar.com. It's a free training that I put together that shows you exactly how to get the ball rolling a little more formal style than this.
How much of a return will an investor need to fund my real estate development?
I think you're talking about private lenders here, or maybe even hard money lenders. So the people that are giving you the money to buy and fix up the distressed property are going to be looking anywhere from 8 to 15%. Private money lenders are going to be that 8 to 12% range, and hard money lenders are going to be that 10 to 15% range, maybe slightly higher. Now take into account that these are annualized return rate. These aren't numbers that you're paying them no matter how long you have the money out. It's an annualized return, and depending on the lender, it's going to be different.
How should I be networking as a teenager?
If you're younger and you want to start to network with other people, the first thing I would do is go online. Get involved in Discord groups to talk about real estate investing, join local Facebook groups online to talk about real estate investing, and I would even take it a step further and go to your local meetups and connect with other people in your area. We host a meetup in our building every single month that hosts about 250 people, and there are always 10, 20, maybe even 30 people in their teens or early 20s wanting to connect, and everybody is very, very happy and glad to help them out because they're young and hungry and they want to help in any way that they can. So start online, and if you're okay with that, I would go in person and meet some people at local meetups.
How can I build a relationship with a private lender when I've never invested in real estate before?
The thing is, with private lenders, you already have the relationship built. Most people don't understand what private lenders are. Private lenders are people that you already have a relationship. There is already some type of connection, and maybe they don't know that you're looking to invest in real estate, or maybe they don't know that they could potentially become a private money lender. So part of the private money lender conversation is talking with people that you know, seeing what they're doing in their investment strategies, seeing if they have an IRA or a 401k, or if they have maybe some equity in their house they can borrow against. You're just having conversations with people you know that are everyday people that maybe don't know that they could potentially be a private money lender. So that's the very first step, is understanding who who private lenders truly are and then connecting with your local people that you already have relationships with.
Have you ever needed your rental property insurance?
Yes, we have needed our rental and property insurance a few separate times. One time we had an apartment complexes that flooded. While we didn't have flood insurance, kind of sucks, we did have some insurance on the property that was able to eat into some of the money we had to spend to get the apartment complex back up and running. We've had sewage backup and a few different things happen over time. Now the goal is to not really use that insurance very much. If you use it too much, you can get too many dings on your claims and you can have too many claims, which will make your rates actually go up. So what we like to do is we'll pay out of pocket because we set money aside for that most of the time. But if it's a bigger one or we haven't used our insurance for a while, we will use it.
How much do you make on your average flip?
So the average purchase price on the houses we buy in St. Louis is about $225,000. We end up putting between $35,000 to $40,000 on average in these properties, and we end up netting at the end of the day, after all expenses are paid, between $20,000 and $25,000. So it's not something where we're making $100,000 every single flip. We could do that, but we'd probably only do, maybe 10 or 15 a year. We decide to do scale and do 30, 40, 50, 60 rehabs a year, make a little smaller amount, but the key is only flipping properties that we can get in and out of quickly, and we're okay with less profit if we can get in and out of them in a month or two.
Why do you pass up on deals even when the numbers work?
We don't pass up on deals if the numbers work. Depending on what specific thing we need right now, whether it be a flip, a wholesale, or a rental, if the numbers work, we're going to take it down and at the very, very baseline, wholesale it to somebody else so that they can fix it up and sell it. If not, we'll end up probably keeping it as a flip and selling it ourselves or keeping it as a rental. But if the numbers work, we're taking it down.
How are you paying lender origination fees if you're not using your own money?
So there are no lender initiation fees when you use private money lenders. That's not a thing with private money lenders. Hard money lenders do have some lender initiation fees, and you have a ton of different options there. You can use a private money lender for those initiation fees and maybe the monthly payment and rehab. To the hard money lender, you can use a home equity line of credit you have, or a line of credit you have on a different property, or maybe a credit card, or shoot, you can even use your own cash. When I tell people that I don't use any of my own money, it's long term. If I put $5,000 of my own money into a deal, then I refinance it or sell it and I pay myself back $5,500, I just made $500 on my own money. So it's never out of pocket long term. It is sometimes out of pocket short term, but I'm just lending to myself.
How do you buy assets with no money?
The best way to buy assets with no money is using leverage and using debt. The method that I use is called the BRRRR method. It stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and scale. You're buying a distressed property using somebody else's money. You repair it using their money. You get it rented to start to bring in cash. Then you go to a bank and get a loan to pay back your lender the money they lent you on the purchase and the rehab. Then you use the rent to pay back the bank. That's a very, very quick explanation of it. That's why I talk about it here on all my social media platforms, my podcast, and here on YouTube, is to help you understand that method, because I just explained it in about 45 seconds, but you can create 45 generations worth of wealth using that method.
Are you worried what happened to Dave Ramsey will happen to you?
I am not really worried about it too much, no. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an invincible type of mindset, because I know things can happen, but I have looked into it, and Dave Ramsey was an absolutely horrid real estate investor. He bought properties on floating terms, overpaid for them, over-rehabbed them, didn't have the system set up. He was a terrible real estate investor when it comes to leverage. Now, he's an incredible brand builder. He will sure as heck sell your church a program so that they can teach their people how to not get into debt. He's great at that. He's great at talking crap on his show, like he called me a liar on his show. He's an incredible brand builder, and if you make hundreds of millions of dollars a year, of course, you can buy cash for real estate investment properties, but I like to speak to normal people that want to create wealth, because nobody else has that relatableness of, hey, I make $100 million a year, let me go buy real estate. We all don't make that much money, so the only way to actually do it is to properly leverage debt. Dave improperly leveraged debt and built an incredible brand around it. Good for him, but he was not a good real estate investor back in the day. Maybe he is now, but he was horrible back then.
What do you think rents will be in 15 years?
I don't know for sure, but judging by some of the trends, it will probably be about double. So a lot of what real estate does doubles in value every 15 years. The house values for sure will double in value in 15 years. And rental rates are a little bit more fluid. I think they'll probably be at least doubled as well, but who knows for sure. There's lots of talk of having rent caps put in, but I don't think that's gonna happen at any federal level, maybe certain state levels.
How do you handle utility expenses on your properties?
I pass the utility expenses down to my tenants. So when my tenants are living in the property, whether it be an apartment complex or a single family rental, I pass utilities on to them. They open them up in their name and they pay them. Now there are certain utilities, if you have an apartment complex or like sewer utilities in St. Louis area, that I have to pay being the owner of that building or that house, but I pass that expense on to the tenant. So it's not something that I end up paying for unless the property is vacant in between tenants, or if it's an apartment complex and there's some common ground utilities, I obviously pay those.
How can I become a private lender?
So becoming a private lender is actually very easy. There's no form you have to fill out. There's no application you have to submit. However, the biggest thing is just understanding leverage and understanding that you are diversifying some of your retirement funds to get a better return or maybe a safer return than you're getting currently. A private lender doesn't give all of their money, their entire retirement fund, to somebody else to invest in. They carve money out of a home equity line of credit that they have that they can lend, or they self-direct an IRA, they borrow a little of their 401k, or they use a little bit of their own cash. So everybody thinking that private lenders have to give you their entire wad, give you their entire retirement and safety fund, that's not actually the case. It's all about diversification.
How did you get the bank to loan you $30 million?
Well, this is a great one because so many people are like, no bank would ever give me $20 million or $30 million. I understand that. They wouldn't, probably me either. Maybe they would now, but this started out with my very first property, a $100,000 loan. Then my next property was an $80,000 loan. Then my next property was a $150,000 loan. And then I got a small apartment complex. So it's something that builds over time. Yes, now I get $3, $4, $5 million loans with apartment complexes at times. However, again, this is something that builds over time as you build credibility, and it's multiple banks to do it.
How do private lenders decide if they want to lend to you?
The private lender is going to decide if they want to lend to you based on your relationship with them and their understanding of real estate. If you have a really good, tight relationship with them, they probably don't really need to understand real estate. They're probably just going to lend you the money based on you as a person and your character. However, if you're not really good friends with them, or it's kind of more an acquaintance, you're going to have to show them the benefits of real estate investing and show them how you are giving them a safe, secure investment. You can personally guarantee it. You can list them on the policy, the insurance policy, as an additional insured. That one's free. Create a promissory note. You can add them on the deed as partial owner until you pay them back. There are certain things you can do and say and frame towards showing people that you are giving them the best investment backed by real estate that they will ever make. And in fact, I even have a free training in the description, freefundingwebinar.com, where I walk through how to fund real estate and give you a lot more details on how to actually do it. Again, a little more formal than I can right now. Hopefully you learned a little bit about real estate investing and I was able to answer some questions that maybe were in the back of your mind, or maybe you didn't even know you had, to move the needle forward in your real estate investing journey. If you'd like to do that at more length, make sure to follow me here, subscribe to this channel, and check out my podcast, The Faster Freedom Show. I host it here on YouTube. You're going to get trainings, you're going to get shorts, you're going to get actual podcast episodes. You're not going to go anywhere else and get more real estate knowledge. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. See you on the next one.